choice at a young age. I was in my mid to late 20s, and I was responsible for the loss of a life. And I was sentenced to over 100 years in prison, and I served 32 actual years before I was released 2 years ago. While I was incarcerated, I earned my bachelor's degree, took multiple vocations, got certificates in barbering, automotive technology, and some electrical TV repair. Up on my release, after working for the reentry program, I was teaching guys how to do applications, resumes, cover letters, preparing them for their return to society. Being a leader of the Plus program, I was in charge of 115 men, trying to teach them alternatives to criminal lifestyles and behaviors. All while helping them, I was helping myself. Couldn't wait till the day I was released. Couldn't wait to join the workforce. Only to get out and encounter something that I never could have prepared for. The things that we were learning was somewhat inaccurate. The information wasn't quite there, because what we didn't know is that, yes, there are some employers that will give felons a chance, but you have to be out 7 years, 5 years. And every job I went to, I always met the same thing. Sir, we would love to hire you. You interviewed well, but with the felony, we just can't hire you. So coming out at 59 years old, I went in at 26. I'm old, hadn't worked. What am I going to do? It had got so bad that I got lucky and got one job out in Plainfield. I told him about the felony. She said, don't worry. We're just going to wait till the payroll come back, but you can start Monday. I worked 30 days. The quotas were so high, they asked me, how are you doing this? But I had worked in prison for 25 cents an hour. Here I was making $18 an hour. I was happy to be at work. And one day, 30 days in, I got a phone call as I was going to work. And they said, Mr. Caldwell, we no longer need your services. And I'm like, whoa, why? What? The felony conviction. I said, but I told you guys about that. I don't understand. They wouldn't talk to me. I couldn't come in. I had to mail the badge in, and I just broke down and cried. It was so bad. It's going to end my life. What am I living for? And my sister came home, and she seen me at the bar crying, and she hugged me. She said, it's going to be all right. And I prayed. I'm like, God, why did you keep me living so long? I'm healthy. I don't understand. I can't get a job nowhere. And the guy told me about a company, temp service, Spirion. Spirion explained the story. They gave me a job. But in 6 months, the company you work for is not going to hire you because of felony, so you're going to have to keep changing jobs. So every 6 months, I'm going to have to change jobs. So coming down Post Road, because I live out east here, going to the highway, I seen Volumod, and I used to look over here. I never knew what it was. I'm like, I wish I could work over there. A place like it's right 7 minutes from my house. I don't know what it is, but wow, I wish I could work someplace like this close. And one day I was coming home from work, and they had the signs out there, hiring. They had carpenter, drywall. And I'm like, well, I really don't have skills in those things, so what am I going to tell them? So I didn't stop. And a friend of mine worked here, had told me about Volumod, but he didn't really explain what it was, so I didn't believe in it. But one day I was coming through here, and I'm like, man, I'm going in there. And the lady at the front desk said, hey, we do interviews on Tuesday, open interviews, just wait and come back Tuesday. I came back on that Tuesday, and they were busy. They didn't have time to do interviews, and I just, wow. So she gave me an application. I filled it in right there, and I turned it back in. I said, man, please make sure this gets in the right hands. She said, oh, don't worry, I promise you. And I went home, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. It was like 10 days passed and nothing. I'm like, here I go again. And one day, my phone rang, like the 12th day. And they said, it was HR. And she said, you put an application for Volumod, are you interested in working? I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Said the questions, well, come in. And I'm running in here, you know. And when I came in, I sit up front, and there was something, I was nervous and sweating, and I heard this voice come up behind me. It was, Mr. Caldwell. And I turned around nervous, and I seen this guy, and happened to be now who I know, Mr. Kirby and Mr. Gammon. I said, well, 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 it's my turn to interview you now. It was Mr. Kirby. Well, I had Kirby in one of my classes. So it was like, whoa, my heart's pounding, and he took me down, he leaned back in the chair, and so, you want to work for me? He said, tell me, what can you do? So I explained my skills and looked at John, and we're going to give you a chance. And I just, yes, yes. And so after the interview and everything, I went home smiling, and it's like, I couldn't wait to come to work. So I couldn't start till a week later, and I started on the 26th of September. And he walked me in here, and I seen this, and this is like part of my dream. I used to always want to work on houses and stuff, but couldn't go to school, couldn't afford to go to school. And so he brought me in, and he stopped me off at electrical, of all places, something I know nothing about. He said, you'll do fine, because you're smart, and I know you are. And I started learning the wiring, the switches, the plugs. Then he put me in the mechanical, learning water heaters, and I'm like, oh my God. But I had a teacher, a leader that taught me that, and now I come in here every day. I put in water heaters, I do the air handling, I do the duct work, I'm folding the metal, things I never thought I could do, and I'm doing it. When I come to work, I'm happy. It's not work, it is fun. And so one of my missions is I always said I was in prison for the loss of a life that I had no right. So my mission is to save as many lives as possible, and I can't be a doctor. So I said, I'm going to try to reduce crime. If I can change the mindset of the guys with the criminal thoughts, if I can change their hearts, I can change their mind, that will save their life and their potential victims. And Volumod, a second chance company, is something I dreamed of in prison. We used to pray about jobs like this, and you couldn't find it nowhere. I got out, I searched, I went through multiple companies and walked out the door. Volumod not only opened the door, they embraced me, they understood my situation, they pray with you. It's a company that words are inexplicable. And the way I feel, I get worked up because I'm excited. I share with my wife every day. I talk about the job when I go home. I listen to the guys when I'm in there working, and I hear their complaints. I make mental note because I want to fix it. And my job is to encourage you. Everybody who commits crimes, whether you're selling drugs, doing burglaries, robberies, you're doing it so that you can eat. Well, Volumod is a 4-course meal. All you have to do is sit here, do what you're supposed to, and you can eat. Your families can eat. It is unbelievable. So I say, I prayed for something like this. I never thought I would find it at 30th and Post Road with Volumod. And I try to talk to all the guys in prison. Hey man, I got a company out here, but get you some skills while you're in there. Come out here, you probably will get a chance, but have the right attitude. Come to work hard. It's easy. They are understanding. And in most companies, the bosses, they stay up front in the office. Here, they're out on the floor. You can approach them. You can talk to them. They're in the break room, HR, the owner. You can sit there and talk to them like just normal people. They sit down with you and look you in your eye. They don't make you email them and ask. This is so unbelievable. It is like, they always say, be careful what you pray for, you know. Right. I pray for this, and this is it. And I'm telling the guys, man, this is it. And so the people here, man, this is it. We have to realize the value in this. We have like 7 core values, and it's like restoration, innovation, unity, impact, generosity, courage, and multiplication. And I look at those core values, I see them on the wall, and most people just look at it as painting on the wall. But when you talk about restoration, they've given me a chance to restore my life. Excuse me. I tear up because you just don't know what I went through. And so when I come here, I take this to heart. When I talk to the guys, I'm serious because, man, I can't allow you to mess this up. I'd rather see you gone than to mess this up. I'm everybody's friend, but I want everybody to do the right thing because this is beautiful. This is beautiful. I could just go on and on and on, and I don't want to wear you guys out, but these tears are genuine. Like I say, when I come in here and I look at all the things that I can do now that I couldn't do, I don't care where they put me, I'm confident in it, you know? And when I go home and I talk to my wife about my day at work, and I tell her about the women that work here, you know, I wish you had an interest in this because I'd have you up in there. But more so, not only has it restored my life, but I'm thinking about all the lives of these homes are going to impact the people that will be able to afford these homes. They sit a house, I think, about 3 Mondays ago out on the south side of Indianapolis. And I drove out there, and I have a video on my phone because I couldn't believe what I saw. What you see here is beautiful, but out there, when I seen that roof come up and I seen the A and the C come over the B, I was so stunned. I'm like, I have to buy one of these. I have to buy one of these. And I showed it to my family. I'm like, look at this. It's beautiful. So I shared with a couple of people here. Man, y'all don't know what we're creating here. And when I showed them the video, I'm like, look at this. So now when I walk in the house, I see even more. And I take it even more serious now because there are going to be some families that will be able to afford these houses. I write down everything. I take notes on everything. Whatever I do today, if I see somebody do something, I'm like, teach something. That's why you see marking on my hand. I have it on my arms. And I go home and I have a notebook where I put everything together. Because one day, I will be able to show people the beginning of this. So I was given a book by the company called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of those habits is begin with the end in mind. And so every day when I come in here, I begin with the end in mind. When I start looking at the wall where I'm going to sit this water heater or this air conditioning furnace unit, I begin, what is it going to look like when I finish? It's just beautiful. So if I can just encourage everybody who works here, everybody who's going to work here in the future, to come in and take this as serious as I do. We will be rolling these lines and these houses will be coming out. And I say, this company, Volumod, producing these homes, one day will be one of the biggest companies you see of producing homes all over the world. That's just the way I feel. And I want to be a part of that.